Welcome to the crypt. Today we've got Loop Hero. We're going to be checking this one out. It is a bit of an older game now. It came out in 2021 and was made by 4 Quarters. It does have a very positive review on Steam as well, with about 28,000 reviews there. So this is basically a deck building roguelike. More heavier on the roguelike than the deck building aspect. But essentially the basic premise of this game will be that the world has been erased and you're essentially thrown into this timeless loop that you have to continue around, where you regain memories of the world and begin to rebuild a settlement. So we're going to jump straight into it. I'm going to select a free save slot here, skip the tutorial, and we'll jump in and check it out. So while I said this was a deck builder, it does use cards, but that's just one aspect of it. You can change your cards and build the deck a specific way if you want. Let's get into this one though. So the stars in the sky are going out one by one, but no one notices it, no one can stop it. I'm racing to the last place where there is still hope. I need to make it before it is too late. The sounds of agony will quickly fade. The world will be destroyed, even the memory of it will be gone. And even if there is absolutely no chance of bringing it all back, there will always be someone who is willing to do the impossible, in a place without space, without time, without memories. Alright, so we're going to start here by building our campfire. This is going to be the very start of our settlement. So this will basically restore 20% of the hero's max HP upon entering the campfire tile. So building settlement pieces are going to use up resources, which we can see in the right hand corner getting used. Now that we've done that, we can actually head out on our first expedition. So we're going to head out into the unknown essentially. This is Act 1, where we will be facing the Lich. Now we have obviously our class here, the warrior. There are multiple other classes that you can choose from as the story progresses, which will include the rogue and the necromancer. Now these will have different gear slots you can potentially use. The warrior has the sword, ring, shield, and the plate body. The rogue will have a different kind of setup for equipment that you can use. Alright, so we'll jump into this one here. Okay, this path, everything is wrong, but I remember, it looks like a completely different place and it's empty again. Do my actions have any meaning? Like I have a choice. If I need to give up and cry to save the world, I am the worst savior of all. Let's do it. So I'll just pause it right there for a second. Essentially, this has generated a random shaped loop of a map, and we are going to be traveling around this, fighting different enemies, gaining armor and weapons, and we'll also be getting cards come into our hand, which we can use to place down different buildings or terrain or enemy encounters. So let's progress through, and we'll start with our first fight against a slime. Now we've gained a shield which we can equip to our character here. It's going to give us a bit of a damage and defense bonus here, so we can see our stats: 4 to 6 damage and 4 defense. Alright, I'm going to pause again. You want to potentially pause after each fight. This is a planning stage where you can place down items or cards and look at your equipment. So we have 2 cards that came into our hand. One is the rock, which will give us plus 3 HP, plus 3 more HP for every adjacent rock or mountain. If we click that, we can place it somewhere on the map. I'm choosing the top left here. The next thing I'd say is, as we place that, we did actually gain a resource from that. So you can see there's preserved pebbles. Once we get 10 pieces of this particular resource, it's going to combine to form one preserved rock as a resource. We also have our grove here. This is going to spawn a rat wolf every 2 days, and they can move to adjacent tiles. So we're going to use this. We'll place it down in front of us up here somewhere. Let's place it here. So I'll go over quickly as well. We have in the top left hand corner a day progress bar. Once this fills up, typically depending on what tiles we have placed down, we will regain HP, and the day will progress again. Underneath that is another bar here, which is the map completion bar. When this is filled up, the boss of the chapter is actually going to be summoned, and then we can do the final fight. So we'll see as we place more and more tiles down, that map progression bar is going to fill up. Okay, we do have some armor we can wear now, so that's good. It's going to increase our max HP, and we also have a mountain card. This is plus 5 HP for each adjacent rock or mountain. So we can place that down and we get another resource. Alright, there we go. And we've got a ring that's going to do damage to all 2. Okay. And a meadow. Now the meadows heal 2 HP at the start of each day. So when that day bar fills up, we will get 2 HP from having one of these on the field. Now the aim basically is to survive as long as possible, keep going around the map gaining resources so we can use those resources to essentially build more in our settlement, and those buildings in our settlement will give us passive bonuses for our next expeditions. So if we can survive long enough, we will want to try and get to the boss fight if we can and defeat the boss to progress through the story and into the next act. But the main goal essentially at the start is building up resources so you can last longer in future expeditions. Now we also have a treasury card here. This will give random basic resources after placing anything on an empty tile around it. It must be surrounded by empty space when you first build it. So as you can see here, I can't place it right up against the meadows we've already placed, unfortunately. It's going to have to float out in the abyss here. We also have a spider cocoon, which I'm going to place down as well. This one can probably go, say, just past the camp. This is going to spawn spiders on a tile once a day. If I place this in, say, the middle here, it has potential to spawn them on any of these spaces around here. But where I've placed it, they're only ever going to spawn on one particular tile. Now we do have another card in our hand called the Oblivion card. Now the Oblivion card we're not going to use until we actually need it. It basically erases any tiles or monsters on the road. So it can come in handy if we're on a loop and we come up against multiple enemies which we don't think we're going to survive. Right, we've just passed the camp for the first time, so we have healed up as well. We have a new weapon too, which is same damage, but this actually has a sub stat on it, vampirism, which is 9%. So we're going to equip that one there. We'll get the vampirism stat now. The other thing is when you are basically on the camp or a square next to the camp, a symbol down to the right here is going to say you can return to the camp if you click this, and all the resources you have gathered, so all the resources in your backpack here, you'll take those back to your camp to use. This can be important for ending runs early if you want to, if you don't think you're going to survive another loop, because if you die in another loop you get, I believe it's less than 50% of the resources you've gathered. I'm not sure exactly how many you get, but you do get a dramatic reduction to the resources gathered that you get to take back with you. So you can pause while you're on a fight to start the planning phase. So when it comes out of the fight, you'll be paused already, which can be quite useful. We're going to place another rock down and another mountain, as well as these meadows. If I place a meadow next to the treasury here, it's going to actually turn into a blooming meadow. This is going to heal 3 at the start of each day instead of the 2. So you want to place meadows next to buildings. And we can place another one here as well. Alright, we can place some more rocks and things down as well. Probably a grove can come down here. So I am placing as much as I can initially, just one to build up the boss or map completion progress bar, and also because the more fights we do, the more chances to get gear upgrades. So this next ring we have here actually gives us +9 vampirism, which I think we're going to swap out to. It gives us 18% vampirism now. We also have a road lantern card in our hand. This here is going to reduce maximum number of spawning enemies on tiles around it. Road lantern effects can stack. So if I want to limit the amount of enemies being spawned on a tile, I would use a road lantern. However, that's not always the best case. There are some resources that I believe, such as the Orb of Expansion, which you can only get if you're fighting 4 or more enemies at one time. So you may not want to use the road lantern straight off the bat, but they could be handy later on if you need a little bit of a breather. Alright, we've healed up again. We now have a vampire mansion as well. This is going to add vampires to battles on the tiles around it. So let's place you over here. We also have a battlefield which is going to spawn a chest on each adjacent tile, each loop. Enemies on the tiles around it can become ghosts when they die. So, I mean, this is going to make some of the battles a lot harder if we do put this here. But I think it could be worthwhile still. In fact, I might place it over on this side. I'm also actually going to place maybe a road lantern down here, just to help reduce the amount of battles caused by this, or enemies. Okay, we've got 3 spiders here we're fighting. This armour is slightly better, we'll wear that. Nice, okay. Let's place this down here. Right, so as you can see here, all our rocks and mountains have actually turned into a mountain range, and it gave us bonus resources. Now this mountain peak will give us plus 121 max HP, plus 5 max HP for every adjacent mountain or rock tile, and it spawns a harpy every 2 days. Now the harpy can fly out from this mountain land anywhere on the map, so be wary of that as well. But we'll continue on. Okay, while we do have a damage upgrade for our weapon, I'm going to stick with our current weapon, the rapier, because of the vampirism percentage that gives us, that bonus there. We can switch out our shield, however, though. It's going to give us twice as much defense. Okay, and we got another treasury. We want to place these down as soon as possible. I try to group them together so any basically meadows or other things we place down next to them will get both of the treasuries at one time, just to try and optimize the space you're using. Okay, we'll upgrade that. So as you can see, while I haven't specifically paused the game itself, the battle is paused when you're hovering over equipment in your inventory, just to give you a chance to read over things and equip stuff. But as soon as I move over this, the battle is going to continue. Okay, I'm going to build up a few cards in my hand before I start playing them again. Alright, we might preemptively pause after this one. Okay, we have 2 rocks and 2 meadows. So as you see, once I place that rock down, we actually got an encampment spawn. So we have a goblin camp that spawned in. So this will spawn for every 10 or rock or mountain tiles that have been placed. This will also spawn a goblin on the adjacent tile once a day. So you do get additional creatures spawn in if you place certain amount of these terrains. Alright, so we're going to continue surrounding this treasury here and gaining as much resources as we can from that. Stop. Where did these goblins come from? I don't remember remembering you. We remembered ourselves. Now give us all your things. You have no idea what's going on, right? Why don't you help me restore order in this world first? You can do everything you want when I'm done. Goblin must rob. No other order in the world. Fair enough. Guess I don't have any good objection to that. Oh wait, I do have one. How about... Alright, so we're going to fight off the goblins now. So yeah, a lot of the time when something first spawns in, there'll be a bit of dialogue because you've just remembered them essentially. They've just popped into the world again. Strange how these creatures appeared here on their own. Maybe it means something, or maybe it means everything is actually not so bad and the world is trying to restore itself. That, or even the apocalypse, isn't enough to get rid of some pests. We did get an armour upgrade which we're going to equip. This one is pretty good actually. It's got 16% evasion as well, so we'd like to see that, and 298 max HP. So you'll see as well, when we actually equip new armour and things on us, whatever was previously equipped just gets destroyed. And as well as our inventory below us, once this fills up with items, whatever's in the last slot will get destroyed when the new item comes in. Okay, we have another meadow. Let's place that one down. Another spider cocoon. We can probably place that maybe over here, as well as a vampire mansion here. So now that we've placed quite a few things, you can see our boss progress bar is probably about a third of the way through. So we just need to continue on, heal up as much as we can there. We do really need a better weapon upgrade, I should say. We're not hitting very highly, unfortunately. do have another mountain. Let's throw that one down. The beacon here is 40% movement speed within its range. Also plus 20% attack speed for all units. Okay, so we could place this down to cover... that's probably not too bad. We can cover these tiles here. So all the blue, that should be covered by its effect. Back off, human. A vampire? Where are your lands? If your farmers need help, I would be glad to offer it. No more lands, no more flock. Only hundreds of years of emptiness. And hundreds of years of hunger. Save yourself while you still can. I don't know how long I can keep my head straight. What hundreds of years are you talking about? Your mind is easy to trick, but you can't trick my hunger. It demands its fill. Every sip, every drop of blood will go to satiate it. I'm too weak, but you can help me, and I will set this crumbled world right. That's right, I'm doing this not for just myself, but for everyone, in the name of the greater good. So be grateful for my hard work, and just let me bleed you dry. Right, so it sounds like the world has been emptied for hundreds of years, essentially. But obviously time has no meaning to us. We've only really just come back into existence, essentially. Or started to remember things. Vampires often owned our lands. They kept the peace and helped our settlements prosper. But this won't do it all. Now they are just pale shadows of their former selves, both physically and mentally. Apparently blood of other creatures can't sustain them. He wasn't joking about the hunger. Even the creatures around him were imbued with the power to drain someone else's life. Alright, so hopefully we have some better equipment here. The ring has some evasion as well as damage to all and defense. It's not too bad. The armor, not a great swap out. The evasion is probably more worthwhile keeping. I may sacrifice our vampirism now, just because we do need to deal more damage though, which is a bit of a shame. So as you can see, all this equipment have numbers next to them. That's basically the tier of the weapon. As you do more loops of this map, you will see higher numbers pop up for the loops you've passed. There are obviously blue and gold or orange, whatever you want to say. There are different colored rarities of equipment as well. They typically relate to the substats or the amount of substats that you'll have on equipment. But I think, let's just have another quick look at this. We may have to sacrifice our vampirism and try and go for evasion. I think the overall damage output may be more worthwhile, sadly. Let's just do this for now, and we may or may not equip that ring. No. What do you mean, no? You want to save the world, you want to ask for help. Our answer is no. How did you... But why no? We see far away, we see deep inside. For a long time there has been an emptiness instead of the sky, but it doesn't stop us from seeing. Your saving of the world is one-sided and naive. Each person sees their own way to save the world. That's why no one will ever join you. Fine, I don't fully understand it, but tell me your version. How do you see saving the world? By my progeny and kin. May they live and be strong. May they join the cycle of life and death. That is life, that is the world. I will kill you and feed your flesh to my starving younglings, and life will go on. And how many lives can your blade prolong as you kill again and again? Only one. I don't want to die, and I don't want your children to die of hunger. Please try to see reason. If my mission succeeds, the harpies can have all the sky and all the hunting grounds they need. I can't feed my children with your beautiful words. Farewell. So some of these creatures seem to remember more than we do ourselves. I feel awful. By fixing one evil, I'm causing another. There's no home for harpies except in the highest mountains, but there's no food there. I can't even imagine how they managed to survive in their mountain if their mountains were cut off from our reality. Alright, so I'm going to pause after this battle as well. We've got a bit more equipment that's come in as well. We want to have a look at that and maybe place some more cards down. So, this armour here we have that goes lower max HP, pure damage, counter, and regen per second. Not great. Not bad, but not great. I do think evasion is still worth keeping. And I might swap out the ring now as well. This does give us plus 6% evasion. We do lose the vampirism, unfortunately, but this will also give us the defense and damage to all. So the damage to all is good for multiple opponents. That's why we want to keep that. We can also place down maybe a battlefield somewhere. Let's place another one down here and maybe another grove. Ooh, let's place a grove over here. Sometimes you want to be placing these where you've already been. That gives them time to spawn enemies for you to fight by the time you get back around to them. We do have another road lantern, which is going to help. I think we might place this over here as well. No, we'll place it over this way maybe. This should give us the chance to minimize the enemies on this side that we're trying. Try not to build them up too much. We do also have another vampire mansion. Don't know if we want this many of them in a row. We'll hold off for a second. Alright, shield's no better, armor's no better, let's carry on. Alright, we're pretty close to dying here, unfortunately. Now, we could potentially regain some health by changing out our armor, but we would lose our current armor. This ring gives us 3 regen a second, which probably isn't that bad, actually. But again, I'm not keen on swapping out and losing some of these other stats we have. Let's carry on and see if we can't survive a bit longer. Need better equipment. Okay, we did get another sword, which is an upgrade. So we can do a little bit more damage now. I may oblivion some of this stuff as well. Just thinking. How much HP? We've got 98 HP. Hopefully we can survive this fight. Ooh, okay, so we go ghost spawning. Oh, nice. We got a bit of an upgrade here. HP's not great. What about our weapon? This would give us, while the max hit is down to, we do get damage to all, which is 2, so I might swap that out. Let's have another look at what we had down here. Pure damage and defense from this. Okay, I think what we have is still technically better. We could try throw a beacon down here. Let's continue. Okay, I am gonna oblivion these monsters. Oh, excuse me. I have a little bit of hay fever at the moment. Okay, we managed to make it back to the camp, which we should heal up now. We also have these meadows we can place as well, which I think we should do. Let's add a few more around the treasury here. Another beacon as well can probably go down. We'll throw that there. And we've also got a cemetery. Let's maybe place that down. Alright, let's see if we can get another loop around. I do think vampirism is kind of good for the early stages, just to prolong our life. Unfortunately, we don't typically have a very good vampirism build. But in saying that, we did just get this ring here. For the sake of 6 evasion and the damage to all in defense, we could get 16% vampirism. Maybe we put that in. That may actually be worthwhile doing. Then makes me want to rethink the armor we have as well. 16 evasion would go down to 6, so we'd lose 10% evasion for the gain of 6 vampirism. Probably not worth it. We do have another mountain, we'll place that down. And I think we'll put a vampire mansion down as well. So we're probably about 50% of the way to the boss fight. Just gotta hope we can actually stay alive for long enough. So this is going to mean that it's vital for us to pause after each fight. Ooh, this gives us a significant amount more HP. Plus 5 damage to all and 4 pure damage. The weapon does seem better. That's got a counter as well. I might change our armor out. We do lose a huge amount of our what was it? Not our vampirism, our evasion, sadly. But this will give us a little bit more health to work with. And the damage to all is going to be good for multiple enemies. Alright. I think that's not too bad. Let's place a few more things down. Alright, let's see. Right, this is better. To get a counter upgrade. And another meadow. So if we can survive long enough, hopefully we can get through maybe this round and one more. Is this weapon any better? It does have a slightly better max damage. and a pure damage stat, but I think what we have is probably better with the with having that counter percentage. Okay, another meadow and another rock. I would really like to get some Oblivion cards, potentially. Just because I know we're going to end up with quite a few enemies soon on tiles, and we may not be able to fight them off. Let's place a road lantern down here, maybe. Alright, another treasury. Some more rocks. And we do have another beacon as well. We could probably place this maybe here. Okay, hopefully we can just survive. That damage to all kind of saved us there, to be honest. Counter, regen, and vampirism. So even though this is basically the same tier level or number level as the previous ring we have, this has substats to it which usually is better, but the main stat is a lot weaker, unfortunately, so we're probably not going to be using this either. And we are very close to dying, so if we can't get anything from this battle, we may be dead. Ooh, okay. Shield is a lot better. Let's have another look here. Regen per second, we probably wanted that, to be honest. Defense is up. Okay, actually this might be better. Attack speed, I think we use this one. Okay. Now we're probably going to be dying very shortly here, unless we have some armor that has more max HP we could wear. No. Throw down that as well. Because we have the goblins and the spiders to get through before we can heal at the camp. If we run away now, we will lose a lot of our gained resources, so we might as well see it through. So I would say we're probably dead here. Okay, somehow we have survived that one. It says increased attack speed and pure damage. Hopefully we can survive. Ooh, not quite. Okay, so when you die, you get essentially some of your resources back. We did lose quite a lot, unfortunately. Here it is. 30% of your resources found we get a keep. So we'll take that, we'll head back to camp. I can't believe it. Hey everybody, the boy managed to return. Survivors? Does this mean I'm not alone anymore? Where did you come from? Is there still a place without darkness? We don't know where we came from. That, or we can't remember. These few people are all that's left of our group, I think. You're not sure? We're not sure. We reached that conclusion based on the abandoned luggage and leftover daily rations. Each day we see the signs of other people's presence around us, but as far as we know, they don't exist and never did. It's like we forgot them. Forgot them? Exactly. It's as if people are disappearing every day and we instantly forget they existed, just like we forgot where we came from, and our families, maybe even ourselves. My name is Yoda. That I still remember. Everyone else's memories are not much better. That's why I remember so little about myself. Everything is forgotten. But wait, you said I managed to return? That means you remember I was here? Yes, that's why it's important to us. We saw you leave, but you were gone before we could approach you. Listen, we can't keep wandering in this emptiness anymore. There's a campfire here, and enough space for a few sleeping bags, a real luxury in these dark times. What do you say? Of course, you can stay. I'd be very grateful if we could team up. I want to put everything right. I'm only beginning to remember the world as it was before. But there's no point to it without other people. It's too lonely without them. Remember the world? I don't get what you're talking about. I'm too exhausted. But we'll be glad if you could help us, and we'll be glad to help you. Just don't ask us to follow you out there. I don't know how you managed to return, but for us leaving the group is too dangerous. I'll ask no such thing of you. For now, I just want to have a place to return to, a place where I can hear other people's voices. We weren't joking about helping you. Here are the few things that survive the cataclysm and don't vanish. Don't become forgotten. Take it. You might need it. Alright, so we've gotten some more resources here. We can go to our build and see what we can do. We have a few new buildings that we could potentially build here. They are going to cost specific resources. We have our field kitchen here, which is going to give us 10% to the campfire's healing power. And it also unlocks the Blood Grove card, so we could add that to our deck. We also have the Herbalist Hut. This one will give us potions that we can take up to 3 with us, and then 2 potions refill at the camp. These will heal 4% of our max HP. And we'll also unlock the Swamp card. And over here we have the Smithy. This provides the basic warrior gear at the very start of each expedition. So as we had before, we started off with absolutely no gear. This basically gives us the most basic stuff, like a simple sword and shield and things to start us off at the very start. We can also craft tools for the camps if the supply depot is built as well. Now, we don't have the resources to buy the smithy or the herbalist hut, so we're going to get the field kitchen. We can put that down here. Do you know the difference between a good cook and a bad cook? Food made by a good cook tastes better. What were you waiting for? Something more elaborate? Sometimes the truth is very simple. Look, I have a cauldron, a hearth, a couple of knives, a bucket of potatoes, 3 onions, and some ham. Nothing special, everything is very simple. But give me a few minutes and everyone in this camp will be running to my table, following the tasty smell of a good stew. So we do get new campmates and things as we progress as well. But it is very important to be upgrading our settlement. This will give us those passive bonuses which are going to help for further expeditions. Lets us last longer, actually make it further into the game as well. Now, I would have liked to have shown you the boss as well for this, but that's all the time we have for this time. If you are interested in this game, feel free to like and leave a comment below. You can check it out on the Steam store. I will leave a link in the description. And if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.